That's brilliant. Thank you. All right, so let's begin with today's program, the Genius Code, the science of peak performance. So before we start, let me make you clear that this is not just a theoretical program. Rather, this is an experiential program. By this, what I mean is you're going to experience certain things within your system, that is your neurology, which will help you not just perform better, but get into the right states of mind to do whatever you want. So I believe that any performance is 80% state of mind and 20% strategies. So just remember this one thing and you will change your results in any aspect of life. And that one thing is state of mind contributes to 80% of your results. 20% is strategy. So first, let's get into a good state of mind to go and learn what we are going to learn. So I request all of you to actually stand up and jump 10 times and then come back and sit again. You have to do this to get into the right state of mind. So all of you just stand up, jump 10 times. You don't have to show us that you are jumping, but we trust you that you're doing it. So go ahead, jump 10 times and come back. And if you're not doing this, let me tell you one thing. We all have been educated in an education system which has taught us to sit and learn. We are used to sitting and learning. But human body and mind is not designed to sit in chair. Our body was designed to move continuously in jungles. And if we are not moving, we are not using our bodies right. So if you really want to get into a good state of mind, you have to move. So if you're really committed to learning, I request all of you to just stand up and move your body. I can see some of you are doing that. That's great. And those who have difficulty moving, you can take deep breaths. You can take 5 to 10 deep breaths and get into a nice, curious state of mind. Now, if you can see the presentation, just give me a thumbs up so that I know that you can see this. Brilliant. Thank you. All right. So some of you might be confused. What is Genius Code? What is peak performance? And so let me explain peak performance with an example, okay? Suppose you're driving a car and you get a flat car tire. In Indian language, it's puncture. If you get a puncture, how much time does it take you to change the tire? Probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, right? Now, when a F1 car, which are used in racing, when they enter pit stop, 4 car tires are changed, the entire tank is refueled within 10 seconds. And that's what I call peak performance. So 4 car tires are changed, the whole tank of that car is refueled less than 10 seconds. And that is peak performance. Now imagine if you can have this level of performance in your own life, in whatever you're doing. If you do that, imagine what results you will get. For a minute, just think on this. If you get that level of performance, where you are able to change whatever you want in your life at the peak, what results will you get in your life? Think about this. And that's what we are going to learn. We are going to learn strategies to perform at our best, to tap into our best. So let's quickly go into this Genius Code model, okay? And usually I coach people over 6 months and we have only 1.5 hours today. So we'll just have an overview of things. And my purpose of this seminar is that I give you some 3 to 4 ideas which you can actually use in your life and change your life. So we are not going to go deep into the theory of this, but get practical understanding that can change our life. Okay. So now if you look at this slide, you will see that on the x-axis there is culture, and culture is the soft part of who we are. It is our self-identity, our inner values, the behavior and beliefs that we carry. And on the y-axis is the strategies. Strategy is how we do things. Strategy is knowledge. Okay. Now, if you want to reach your vision, your ideal future, the soft part, which is the self-identity, values, is far more important than the strategies. So I'm going to share a very, very interesting incidents with you, which will help you understand this point better. Why your mental setup, your mindset is far more important than strategies. So a few years back, a business owner approached me for coaching him. He shared with me that his business was growing really fast, but since last 3 years, it wasn't growing at all. In fact, they were having a lot of problems in his business. And he wanted me to help him scale up his business, to grow his business. So I started asking him some questions. And then when I asked him one question, which was, what did he start doing differently just when his business stopped growing? And he shared that he had hired a person in a key role. He had hired a person in a key role who was not performing. And that is why the business was not growing. So the next question which I asked the business owner was, now that he realizes that this person is not performing, what will he do? And when I asked this question, I could see his body become stiff. Okay. And in communication, your body language communicates almost half of what you communicate. So many a times in communication, we think that words are very important, but the fact is words carry a weightage of only 7%. I'll repeat this. When you are communicating, words matter only 7%. And 38% is the tone in which you communicate. 55% is body language. So your body language communicates more than the words. Okay. So I was observing his body language, and when I asked him that when you realize that this person is not performing, what will you do? His body became stiff. And there I realized that there is some mental block which he is carrying. I started asking him few more questions, and I went into his family history. Okay, we went into his past. And when we went into his family history, we discovered that he had a younger brother who was mentally challenged. Okay. And his father, the business owner's father, would always tell him that your younger brother cannot do anything, you have to take care of him. He cannot do anything, you have to take care of him. He cannot do anything, you have to take care of him. He had heard this sentence thousands and lakhs of times in his entire life. Okay. And his mind had got programmed with this sentence. He cannot do anything, you have to take care of him. And so when in his business, he got a person in his key role who was not performing, who was not doing anything, guess what the business owner was doing? He was taking care of him. Now, intellectually, he knew that he shouldn't take care of him. It's business and it's harming his business. But deep down, his mental programming was, if he can't do anything, you have to take care of him. And that's why he was not able to respond to the person not doing anything. So if you get the point, if you understand what I'm saying, please give me a thumbs up so that you understand that what I'm saying. If you understand this, give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. Right? So now this business owner, his business was growing really, really fast. Okay, before he hired this person. So he was a competent business owner. It's not that he was not competent. He was extremely skilled, but his mindset was hampering the growth. And that's why if you look at the slide in the Genius Code model, it says 80% is your self-identity, values, and beliefs, and only 20% is skills, right? So if you really, really want to get great results, you have to focus more on the mental side rather than the skill side. And that's what we are going to do today. So the best example of this is the Indian cricket team. If you look at the Indian cricket team, you can definitely see the big shift in mindset of the Indian team. And that is why the shift in result, right? All right, so what I want you to do is take your pen and paper, think of any one problem in your life, okay? And ask these questions which are there on the slide to the problems and see what comes up for you. Take your pen and paper, look at these questions and answer them. Think about one big problem in your life and ask these questions to the problems. Go ahead. So this is not a theoretical program. You have to experience this. Think about a problem in your life and then look at these questions and see what comes to your mind. Okay, so now I bet that if you are asking these questions to yourself, you are probably feeling bad and not good, right? If you're feeling bad, I would like you to show a thumbs down to me. If you're feeling it, if you're feeling bad after asking these questions, show me a thumbs down. Right? So if you ask these questions, you're feeling not so good. You're not in a good state of mind. And these are the questions which most of the people in victim or loser mindset keep asking themselves. Your mind is a fantastic mechanism. Okay? Your mind is designed to answer the questions you ask yourself. I'll repeat this. Your mind is designed to answer the questions which you ask yourself. So if you ask yourself negative questions, you're going to get negative answers. If you ask yourself, why can't I do this? If you ask yourself, what is my problem? If you ask yourself, who is at the fault? Why it is happening in my life? These are lousy negative questions. And if you ask this type of questions to yourself again and again, your mind is going to give you those answers and you are going to develop a victim's or a loser's mindset. Now, the fact is, more than 90% of people live in a victim or loser mindset. They are always complaining about life, about others, and why things cannot be done. But we are not going to go into that. Okay, we are going to look at positive things, and we are going to look at how to go and create peak results. Now, the people who are peak performers, they do not live in a victim or loser mindset. They live in a winner's mindset. Okay, and what is winner's mindset? Let's experience that now. Okay, think of the same problem which you thought about during the victim questions. Okay, and to the same problem, ask these new questions. So ask these new questions in context of that problem. What do I want? Now ensure that you give a positive answer to this question. Instead of saying, I don't want stress, I don't want hardship, say, I want to live an abundant, comfortable, impactful life. Something like that. Go ahead and ask these questions to yourself and write down the answers. I'll stay mute for a half a minute. Please go ahead and answer these questions. It's important that you answer to experience it. Okay. Now, if you are really asking these questions to yourself, you would be in a different state of mind than the previous questions. Isn't it so? If that's true, give me a thumbs up so that I know that you are experiencing it. That's brilliant. Now, these are the types of questions which peak performers who have winners mindset ask themselves. They are not focused on the problem. They are not focused on who is the problem, what is the problem. Rather, they are focused on what do they really want. How can they get it? What resources do they already have which they can use to create what they want? So I want you to focus on these questions. Okay, if you can take a screenshot of these questions on your laptop, you can do that. And whenever you have a challenging situation in your life, ask these questions to yourself, and that will help you go into a different state of mind. And remember, your state of mind is 80% of your performance. When you are in the right state of mind, right things happen easily and naturally. All right, so since we are short of time, let's go to the point. Now, this is one of the most important slides in our today's session, okay? Now, our brains or our neurology was developed to live in jungles thousands of years ago, right? And in a jungle, there was always danger around us. There could be snakes, there could be tigers, there could be other animals which could kill us the next second. And that is why we have two brains. Okay, this is just a metaphor. I am sharing this metaphor so that I can make it easy for you to understand, because we are short of time. So imagine that we have two brains. One is a primitive brain and other is an advanced brain. Okay, the primitive brain is located in the back of our head. Okay, and the advanced brain is located in front of our head. Now first, let's go to the primitive brain. Okay, our primitive brain has only one function. It has only one function, and that function is survival. That function is survival. Now here's the important thing. Okay, please understand this. Your primitive brain has nothing to do with how happy you are. Your primitive brain has nothing to do with whether you are performing at your peak or not. Your primitive brain has nothing to do with, are you adding value to yourself? Your primitive brain has nothing to do with, are you learning new things? Your primitive brain has nothing to do with this. Your primitive brain has nothing to do with how good are your relationships. Your primitive brain knows only one thing, which is survival. It doesn't know happiness. It doesn't know peak performance. It doesn't know living a good life. Only survival, and that's it. Does that make sense? Okay. And it achieves survival through three strategies. It has only three ways of surviving. What are the three ways of surviving? Flight, fight, and freeze. You can see here in the slide. Flight, fight, freeze. Now, what does the flight mean? Flight means running away or fear. What does fight means? Fight means being aggressive, okay? Or the underlying emotion is anger or aggression. And third is freeze. The underlying emotion here is confusion, okay? Our primitive brain has only these three emotions, okay? Very, very important to understand this. If you understand this slide, you will understand human life. That's my guarantee, okay? So the primitive brain has only three strategies to survive: flight, fight, and freeze. Now, why does it has these strategies: flight, fight, and freeze? Imagine you're walking in jungle, okay? You're walking in jungle and you hear a sound. You hear a sound suddenly somewhere. What will you do? You will look from where the sound is coming, right? And if you figure out that that thing can kill you, you will run. That is flight. Does that make sense? If you figure out that you can kill that thing, it is something which you can kill and eat, you will go and fight it. And if you don't figure out what it is, that sound, where it is coming from, you don't know what animal it is, you're confused, then you
They just use your audio mic.
right? Yeah. So now, if you don't figure out what it is, then you will freeze. That is, you will hide. And that is why your primitive brain has these three strategies: flight, fight, and freeze. Do you understand? If you understand, just give me a thumbs up. Please show me a thumbs up if you understand till now. Brilliant. I'll repeat this one more time. We have two types of brain. Now, this is a metaphor, okay? Don't take it literally. We have two brains. One is the primitive brain, other is the advanced brain. Primitive brain knows only survival. It has nothing to do with happiness. It has nothing to do with peak performance, learning, etc. It only and only cares about survival. How does it survive? Fight, flight, and freeze. Okay? Now, let's come to the advanced brain. Okay, advanced brain is located here, right in front of your brain. Okay, now your advanced brain has multiple functions. Okay, the first function of advanced brain is self-awareness. So what is self-awareness? In Hindi, it is called Sakshi Bhav. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is being aware of our own self, being aware of the thoughts which are going in your mind, being aware of your own body language, being aware of your own breathing, being aware of your own emotions. All that comes under self-awareness. And to be aware of our own self is an advanced brain function. Okay? Now, I'll give you an example. When you go to a meeting, or a function, family function, you are all well dressed up, right? You have control over your body language. You sit well, you stand well, you try to look good when you are attending any function or meeting, right? You take care of the clothes you are wearing, you take care of how do you look, you take care of your facial expressions. Why do we do that? We do that because we are self-aware when we are in a meeting or a function. But when you go home, are you self-aware to that level? No, you sit like anything. You're not aware of your facial expression. You're not aware of how you look, right? So self-awareness is an advanced brain function, right? We are short of time, so I'm not going to go too deep into this, but you can go and figure out what self-awareness is. In Hindi, it is called Sakshi Bhav, the ability to look at our own self non-judgmentally. Okay, that's self-awareness. The second most important function of our advanced brain is empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability to feel other people's emotion. That is an advanced brain function again. I'll give you an example for this. Suppose there's a young family and they have a small kid with them, okay, a small kid, and they go to see a movie, okay, and it's such an interesting movie that the entire theater is fixed on what's going to happen next, and there is pin drop silence in the entire theater, okay, and the small kid feels hungry. What will the small kid do? It starts crying and it starts making noise, right? How does this affect the people in the theater? It disturbs them, right? Now, does the little baby care about whether it's disturbing others or not? It doesn't care. For the little baby, it only cares about its own hunger, because hunger is about survival. And survival is taken care by the primitive brain, not the advanced brain. And the small child's advanced brain has not yet developed right now. And that is why the child doesn't has empathy, which is ability to feel other people's emotion. Does that make sense? Right? So empathy is also how does what I am doing impacting others? How is my communication impacting others? How is my body language impacting others? How is my behavior impacting others? To become aware of how what you are doing is impacting others is empathy. And to feel others is an advanced brain function. So what I want you to do is two things. Instead of just talking about it, let's do it. Okay. So the first point which we saw was self-awareness, being aware of your own self. So right now in this moment, become aware of your body language. Notice how are you sitting. Okay. Notice how are you breathing. Also become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your thinking. What are the thoughts which are coming to your mind? By becoming self-aware, you can check whether you are operating from advanced brain or primitive brain. You can check whether you are in winner's mindset or loser's mindset. Does that make sense? If you are thinking, okay, let me just go through this program and I'm going to get certificate in the end. Okay, let me pretend I'm sitting here. Is that a winner's mindset or a loser's mindset? Be honest. Self-awareness is being honest with ourselves. And if you are in the winner's mindset, if you really, really want to learn something, that means you are in a winner's mindset. And winner's mindset people are the peak performers. So peak performance is not a science from Mars. It's a simple thing, being in the right state of mind. If you're in the right state of mind, you're going to perform well. Okay. So we did self-awareness right now. Now the next activity is a very, very interesting and enlightening activity. I invite all of you to do this honestly. Okay. We are looking at empathy now. Okay. We saw that empathy is an advanced brain function. So let us actually activate our empathy instead of talking about it. Okay. So take your pen and paper and write down 3 people whom you impact the most. Who are the 3 people in your life whom you impact the most? They could be your parents, they could be your wife, they could be your husband, they could be your student. Who are the 3 people you impact the most in your life? Write down the names of these 3 people. I want you to do this. Okay. Now close your eyes and think about the first person you wrote, whose name you have written down. Okay. And bring that person in front of your mental eyes. Close your eyes. Imagine that first person whose name you have written. Bring that person in front of your mental eyes. And now reflect on this. How does my behavior impact this person? How do what I do, say, communicate, impact this person? Am I impacting this person positively? Am I impacting this person in a way which actually disempowers them? How am I impacting this person? How does my communication, my behavior, my beliefs impact this person? Right? And quickly write down what you discovered in front of that person's name. Once you are done with this, think about the second person. And in your head, quickly figure out, how do you impact this person? Are you impacting them positively? Are you impacting them negatively? Why am I telling you this? Okay, why? How is empathy related to peak performance? Okay, let me make this clear. You cannot be a peak performer alone. I'll repeat this. You cannot be a peak performer alone. Even in the sports which are individual sports like tennis, the player plays alone on the field, right? He's alone performing. But even an individual sports player has a team with him, a team of coaches, a team of physiotherapists, of doctors, of nutritionists, right? And they have a team which is working for them. You cannot become a peak performer alone. And so you need a great team or people to support you so that you become a peak performer. And you cannot have a great team if you are not great at building relationships. And you can only build great relationship if you have empathy, if you have ability to feel what others are feeling. Does that make sense? So I'll repeat this. You cannot perform at your peak unless you have great relationship and great people supporting you. And you will have a great team supporting you only if you care for them, if you feel for them. If you are only I, me, myself, my needs, my thoughts, my beliefs, that is operating from primitive brain. Because primitive brain cares about its own survival, not about others. I hope that makes sense to you, right? So if you are a teacher, if you are a professor, if you are a business owner, if you're a sportsman, if you are a parent, whatever you are, empathy is the skill which is core of peak performance. Does that make sense? Unfortunately, we are becoming an individualistic society, which is I, me, myself. The fact is you cannot do much alone. Okay. So empathy is one core skill of peak performance. So self-awareness. Second is empathy. Third, advanced brain function is problem solving and creativity. Okay. Which is an advanced brain function. So let me give you an example to this again. When a small child has a problem, what does the small child do? It starts crying. Isn't it so? It starts crying because of the fear or anger or confusion, because it is still operating from a primitive brain. Does that make sense? But if you are an adult, if you are grown up, not just in your age, but by your mindset as well, you don't cry. You look for solution. You find out creative ways of coming out of that challenge. Does that make sense? Right? And this ability to solve problem comes from advanced brain, not the primitive brain. The primitive brain is about fear, anger, confusion. Okay. And then the last ability of the advanced brain is focus. Okay. Because now, why is it important to focus? Now, remember one thing. I see in the list that most of you are teachers. You are in the teaching profession, right? And we all complain that students these days, they don't have focus. They are like, their focus is dissipated here and there. Now, the lack of focus, which we say lack of focus, is actually the primitive brain doing its work. When you are in jungle, you don't walk like this, right? In jungle, you're always looking here and there for danger. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense, right? In jungle, you're always looking here and there. And that's what the kids do. They're always looking here and there. Now, this is not lack of focus. This is the way our brain is designed to work in jungle. Does that make sense? And the ability to ignore everything and just focus is an advanced brain function. Okay. Now, here's a question for all of you. If you want to be successful and peak performer in modern era, in today's era, and especially after COVID, you need to operate from advanced brain or primitive brain? The answer is advanced brain, right? If you're operating from primitive brain. So now a very interesting question. How do you know that you are operating from advanced brain or primitive brain? How will you know that? Ask yourself, which brain are you operating from? So the answer is, if you experience fear, anger, or confusion most of the time in your life, then you are operating from your primitive brain. I'll repeat this again. If you experience anger, fear, confusion most of the time in your life, that is a sign that your primitive brain is activated, that you are operating from primitive brain, not your advanced brain. Now, how do we know that we are operating from advanced brain? Simple. You will be happy. You will be relaxed. You will be self-aware. You will feel other people's. I'll repeat this. How do we know we are in advanced brain? You will be happy. You will be relaxed. You will be aware of yourself. You will be aware of others. Instead of crying about problems, you will solve problems. Does that make sense? Okay. So now here comes the interesting thing. Now all of us want to be happy, right? But if we go out in society and if we look on the road, how many people do you think are happy? And how many are in fear, anger, confusion? I can safely say that more than 90% people are not happy. They are either in tension, stress, confusion, fear, anger, right? If you agree, give me a thumbs up, right? So most of the people are in primitive brain, and we are saying that we can only be happy and performing at our peak if we are in our advanced brain, right? So then why are so many people operating from the primitive brain and not happy? And the answer to that is our own brain is our enemy if we don't know how it works. And let's try to understand this, okay? Our brain is designed such that when your primitive brain is triggered, your advanced brain gets bypassed. I'll repeat this. Our brain is such designed that when our primitive brain is triggered, our advanced brain is bypassed. The peak performance and happiness fulfillment comes from our advanced brain. But the thing is, when your primitive brain is triggered, your advanced brain gets bypassed. Now, why does this happen? Okay, and let's see why does this happen. In nature, everything has a purpose. Nothing happens without any purpose. Okay, so the primitive brain was designed to live in jungle. It has flight, fight, and freeze as its strategies, right? And advanced brain is about self-awareness, empathy, problem solving, focus, right? Now, imagine you are walking in jungle, okay, and there is a sound. You look at in that direction and you see that a tiger is coming, running towards you. Okay, will you feel empathy for that tiger? Will you say, अरे टाइगर भी भूखा है, उसे भी खाना चाहिए, कितने दिनों से खाया होगा मालूम नहीं? No, you are not going to feel empathy. You're gonna feel fear, right? Okay, when you are running, the tiger is behind you and you are running. Are you going to check? We have learned in the Genius Code program that you should be aware of yourself. You should be aware of your body language. You should be aware of your breathing. So while running, will you become aware of your breathing? मैं अभी सांस कैसे ले रहा हूं? Am I breathing? No, you won't care about it. Will you care about your facial expressions? You won't care, right? You will just run. So the thing is, our brain figured out that when we are in danger, where we are under stress, all these advanced functions are not required. Self-awareness is not required. Empathy is not required. We just have to run or fight or hide, which is confusion, which is freeze, right? And that is why what our brain does is, when the primitive brain is activated, the advanced brain is bypassed. Okay, so I want all of you to do this with me. Okay, if you sincerely want to learn, do this with me. Okay, take your hand, show me your hand, take your right hand. Okay, unless everyone does it, we are not going ahead. Show me your right hand. Okay, and now do this. When my primitive brain is triggered, do this. When my primitive brain is triggered, say it out loud. When my primitive brain is triggered, my advanced brain is bypassed. When my primitive brain is triggered, my advanced brain is bypassed. Does that make sense? Now the fact is, 90% of people and more than that are living in their primitive brain all the time. The question is why? Why are they living in the primitive brain all the time? Because your primitive brain gets activated by stress and tension. That stress could be physical stress, that stress could be mental stress. Any kind of stress triggers your primitive brain. So write down, stress triggers primitive brain. Stress triggers primitive brain. Okay. Now, so till your primitive brain is activated, you do not have access to your advanced brain. Now, peak performance is about activating your advanced brain. Does that make sense? If you want to work at your best, if you want to have peak performance, it will not happen from primitive brain. It has to happen from advanced brain. So till your brain is in primitive mode, you are only thinking about not thinking about performance. And why is your brain in primitive mode? Because you are stressed. You are stressed physically and you are stressed mentally. So if you want to become a peak performer, I'll repeat this. If you want to become a peak performer, you have to get rid of your stress. You cannot carry your stress and be a peak performer. So what I want you to do now is write down your top 3 stress factors. What are your top 3 stress factors? Quickly become aware of your top 3 stress factors and write it down. Okay, now if you allow these stress to continue in your life, you are going to live continuously in stress, which means your primitive brain is always going to be activated, which means your advanced brain is bypassed. Right? Now, the fact is, more than 90% of people never experience their advanced brain in their entire lifetime. They live their entire life in primitive brain and die. Does that make sense? Most of the people, this is unfortunate. And the fact is, all of us have advanced brain. It's not that we don't have advanced brain. We all are humans. 100% people have advanced brain, but more than 90% people never ever experience their advanced brain. They live their life in primitive brain, which is fear, anger, and confusion. Now ask yourself one more time, are you in advanced brain or primitive brain? And most of the people, like I said, have never experienced advanced brain. So what is an advanced brain? Okay, how do you know actually you are in advanced brain? So if you have seen a singer, a classical singer singing, okay, they're singing and initially they are like, they start talking with the audience. But once they start singing, they go deep into themselves, right? And they are singing and they close their eyes to focus more inside, and they're singing, singing, and then their voice goes to a highest pitch. And in then one moment, when they reach the highest pitch, it's like, they experience bliss. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? And once they are in that state of mind, that's when the advanced brain has got activated. Okay? And then they are singing not for the audience. They are singing not for the claps. They are singing not for the money. They are singing because they are feeling bliss when they are singing. And they are feeling that bliss because the advanced brain has got activated. Now, all these peak performers have mastered the art to activate this blissful state of mind. In other words, they have learned the art to activate their advanced brain. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. Brilliant. So we'll repeat this. If you want to become a peak performer, you have to learn to activate your advanced brain. and you cannot activate your advanced brain till you are carrying your stress, because stress activates primitive brain, and when the primitive brain is activated, your advanced brain is bypassed. So if you want to become a peak performer, the first step is self-awareness, being aware of your own self, being aware of your body, being aware of your thought process, and checking within, is there any stress in my body or mind which I'm carrying unnecessarily? Okay? And once you become aware of that, getting rid of it, because still you are carrying stress, you are not in the best position to perform at your best. Does that make sense? So first step, recognize your stress factors, get rid of them. First step. Second step, activate your advanced brain. How do you activate your advanced brain? So we are quickly going to go into that now. We'll go a little fast now because we are short of time. How do we activate our advanced brain? So the first step of activating your advanced brain is right body language, empowering body language. Right now, check again. How are you sitting? Are you sitting lousy? Are you breathing lousy? How is your facial expression? Are you in a confident, happy state of mind with right expression? Or are you loose, sitting down as if you are doing this just because you have to do this? Your body language impacts your state of mind. So right now, I want all of you to sit straight. Quickly sit straight, your spine straight, and start taking some deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for some time and then slowly exhale. Keep taking a deep breath in, holding it for some time and slowly exhaling. Do this 4 or 5 times. Sit straight, shoulders back, taking deep breaths. And if you do this, you will find that you are in a different state of mind. Yes or no? You will start feeling different. If you're feeling different, show me a thumbs up. In your video, just show me thumbs up. Brilliant, very nice. What you did right now is the easiest way to activate your advanced brain. Your body language and breathing is the first step towards activating your advanced brain. Okay? So what I want you to do is, right now, quickly, go into a stressful body language. If you are feeling stress, what will be your facial expression? Make your face like that. If you're feeling stressed, how will be your facial expression? What will you do if you're feeling stressed? Do that. How will you breathe? Breathe like that. And if you are really doing it, you'll start feeling it. That's how powerful your body language and breathing is. So let's not go there. Sit straight. Keep taking deep breaths. Keep feeling good. So body language is the first step of activating your advanced brain. Okay? Now, why is activating your advanced brain or getting into the right state of mind very important? Okay? So if you look at the slide here, on the left side is results. All of us want great results. All of us want peak performance, right? And most of us think that result is directly proportional to the potential, which is on the right side. Do you agree? We think that some student is scoring well just because he's intelligent. He has great potential and he feels he gets the great results. But the fact is, between the results and potential is the state of mind. So let me give you a very practical example of this. There are so many students and people who have great potential, but they are not confident. What kind of results do they get in their life? All of you know that, right? They don't get great results. But there are some students who don't have that much potential, but they are confident, which is they are in a good state of mind. And that is why when you are in a good state of mind, that increases the potential. And when you increase your potential, that affects the quality of your actions. And when your quality of actions are great, you get great results. So let me give you a quick example of this. Suppose there is a student who is well prepared for exam. Okay, so the potential is there. But when they are going for the exam, they are in a fearful state of mind. If they are in a fearful state of mind, guess how much potential they are going to tap into? Very less. Yes or no? And since they tap into very less potential, guess what is their quality of action? Poor, right? And so guess the results, poor again. Now let's take the opposite example. Someone is going for exam and they are in a good state of mind. They are saying to themselves, I can do it. I will remember everything instantly. And the paper is going to be easy and I'm going to be able to do it easily and naturally. If they are saying this to themselves, if they are in the right state of mind, they are going to tap into higher level of potential. And when you tap into higher level of potential, you tap into higher quality of actions and you get better results. So at this point, I would like to share my personal example of how this impacts our results. Okay, because ultimately this program is about getting peak performance. So around a year or two back, I got a call saying that one Indian athlete who was an Olympic athlete, who he was right now going to perform in Asian Games for India, was struggling and they wanted me to help him. Okay, so I called that guy and we had a 14 minutes chat over phone. Now remember one thing, this person, this athlete, Olympic athlete, had to perform the very next morning. So we have no time to work on his skills. We have no time to work on his strategies, right? We have no time to work on his fitness because the competition is going to happen tomorrow and it's an international level competition. Remember, he's an Olympic level athlete. And so when I started talking to him, I realized from his communication that he was in a negative state of mind. He was completely depressed. How do I know that? How do I know that he was depressed? I told you in the beginning, communication is only 7% words. In communication, words matter only 7%. 38% is the tone of voice. And 55% is body language. Now, when I'm talking to him over phone, remember, I cannot see him. I cannot see his body language. But I can figure out from his tone of his voice that he was not in a confident state of mind. Now, tell me one thing. If someone is performing at international level with a depressed state of mind, guess what would be the result? No matter how much he has practiced, no matter how much skills he has, the results will not be as expected, right? Do you all agree? So after realizing that he was not in a great state of mind, my task was to help him shift his state of mind, because I cannot help him with skills. I cannot help him with strategies. Okay. So the first thing I made him do was start breathing right, which is to breathe deep. I asked him to start breathing right. And then I asked him, what was his best performance till now? And he said that his best performance till now was in Rio Olympic. He had performed his best in Rio Olympic. And so then I asked him to think and bring that memory back when he was performing. What was he thinking? How was he feeling? How was he breathing? What was he feeling in his body? What I was doing was, I was taking his state of mind back to when he performed at his best. Does that make sense? Right? So let's do this instead of just talking about it. Right now, think about one happy memory you had in your life. Any one memory when you felt really, really happy. Think about that memory. And relive that memory as if it's happening right now. When were you truly happy in your life? Think about it. And relive that memory. See what was happening then, hear what happened then. And if you're doing it, you'll start feeling happy. Yes or no? Do you agree? Give me a thumbs up if you're feeling that. Super, brilliant. So by asking him to remember his best performance, what I was doing was, I was taking him into that state of mind where he performed at his best. So where we were moving from depression to a peak performance state. Does that make sense? And then we did certain techniques to strengthen that new state of mind. And I asked him to repeat with me, which I will ask you to repeat with me now. Okay, everyone repeat with me. I am a winner. And let that tone also communicate the same. Imagine yourself saying like this, I am a winner. How does that sound? That's not a winner saying. Say it like a winner. I am a winner. Yes, I am a winner. Say it loud. Say it with confidence. If you really want to experience this, this is not an intellectual thing, okay? Remember guys, if you are doing this intellectually, if you are just taking down notes, or if you are just interested in the PPT or the certificate, you are at the most adding to your potential. But potential without the right state of mind is useless. I'll repeat this. Potential without the right state of mind is useless. You can have thousands of certificates, but if you are in a depressed state of mind, you cannot use that knowledge, right? And certificates is never knowledge actually. Right? Even if you have the knowledge, if you're not in the right state of mind, you're not going to be able to tap into it. So feeling it in your mind is very, very important. So if you really want to feel it, say it with me. I am a winner. I choose to create the life which I want. I choose to create the life which I want. I am enough. I completely and totally accept and love myself the way I am. I completely and totally and love myself the way I am. I am enough. Yes, I am enough. I believe in myself. And now take 2-3 deep breaths in and feel it. Feel it in your spine. Feel your body. If you're feeling different, give me a thumbs up. Super, right? Now your task is to maintain this state of mind, because the fact is the world out there is designed to keep you in fear. The world out there is designed to keep you in confusion, to keep you in anger. And peak performers know this. They know that they cannot expect situation out there, the world out there, people out there to keep them in peak state of mind. Repeat this. Peak performers know that they cannot expect the world out there, people out there, situation out to keep them in peak performer state of mind. The responsibility to be in peak performance state is yours and yours alone. Nobody else can do that for you. And how do you get into a peak performance state? Simple: body language, breathing, and saying good things to yourself, like I can do it, I'm a winner, I accept and love myself the way I am. These things are called affirmations. If you Google affirmations, you will get great affirmations. Okay, to repeat these affirmations to yourself. So realized the power of affirmations. Affirmations are positive statements which we make to ourselves. So when I realized the power of affirmations, I used to repeat this sentence: I completely and totally accept and love myself the way I am. I am enough just the way I am. I used to repeat this thousands of times in the day. I used to repeat this so much that even in my sleep, even in my dreams, I used to repeat this. And guess how that helped to get me in the right state of mind? Now, the fact is, most of the time, we are doing exactly opposite. What do I mean? Instead of saying, I completely and totally accept and love myself, what do we say to ourselves? In our head, what are we usually saying? I am not good enough. I can't do it. It is hard. Yes or no? Do you agree? In our head, there is a voice which is continuously saying, I am not good enough. I can't do it. It is hard. Do you all agree? And if you're listening to that voice, if you're repeating that again and again to your own self, that you're not good the way you are, कि आप में कुछ तो कम है, then that is going to impact your state of mind. And that impacts your potential and in the end, your results. So getting into the right state of mind is the most important skill which you can learn yourself. And if you are a teacher, teach to your students. And it's not difficult. It's just that you have to get into right body language and say right things to yourself. Okay? So which is, if you look at the slide, this is all about body language. The fact is your body is not designed for movement. Is designed for movement, not to sit in chair. And unfortunately, our education system makes us does this. Even wherever we work, we sit in chair 8 hours, 9 hours, and that's not how our body and mind is designed to work. Okay, now, how do you get into peak performance zone? Okay. Now look at the slide here and count the number of yellow color balls you can see. Quickly start counting the yellow color balls. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. How many red color balls did you count? And you have not counted red, right? If I ask you how many blue color balls are there, you haven't counted that because you were focused on some different color, right? Now, I guess it's summer in India right now. So all of you might be having AC or fan in your room. Right now, start listening to the fan or AC in your room. And my guess is you can hear it louder now. Yes or no? You can hear it louder now because, not because it was not there. It was always there. This sound was always there. The noise of the fan or AC was always there. But the fact is you were not focused there. And if I am fortunate, you were focusing on what I'm saying, not the fan. But the moment I asked you to focus on the fan, you started listening it louder. Yes or no? Now realize this thing. All of us have all these different colors in our life. All of us have pain points, and all of us have good things in our life. We have challenges and we have opportunity. We have weakness and we have strength. We have good things and bad things. We have people in our life who support us and people in our life who are not supporting us, who are demotivating us, right? There is no person in this world who doesn't has all these things. Everyone has everything. Okay? And I'm fortunate to coach not just Olympic athletes, but I coach politicians, I coach business owners who have turnover of more than 1,000 crores. And guess what? Even they have big problems. It's not that their life is different than you and me. Each one of them has problem. But the question is, where are you focusing in your life? Are you focusing on the good things in your life or the bad things in your life? The fact is, you will see the color which you are focusing on. If you are focusing on yellow, you start seeing yellow. Think about this. When you wanted to buy a new mobile, didn't you start seeing mobile advertised everywhere? In newspaper, in hoardings, your friend's mobile looked a little bigger, right? Now, those advertisements were always there, but you were not focused. The moment you started focusing on that, you started seeing it everywhere. So, the other trait of peak performers is right focus. Peak performers know what they exactly want in their life. They know what they want and they are focused on it. Okay. Now, when I ask people, what do you want in life? Most of the people answer, I don't want stress, I don't want tension, I don't want headache. Yes or no? Now, actually, this is a wrong answer to the question. What do you want is the question, not what you don't want. But the thing is, when we think about what do I want, we start answering negatively. We start saying, I don't want stress, I don't want tension, I don't want this person in my life. And guess what happens? Let's experience this. I don't want all of you to think about mango. I don't want you to think about a nice, ripe, yellow color Alfonso mango. I don't want you to think about the taste of mango. What happens? Exactly that happens, right? So when we say to life, I don't want stress, I don't want tension, I don't want that person in my life, I don't want this problem in my life, I don't want the financial challenge, that is exactly what you start focusing on. And that's what you start seeing everywhere. Peak performers know what they want. They know exactly what they want. They know मुझे अगले एक साल में 10 करोड़ कमाना है. They know मुझे अगले साल में 10 किलो गमाना है. They know that मुझे ये नया skill सीखना है. They exactly know what they want. So when you know what you really want, specifically 80% of your task is done. The problem is most of us, and probably you also, don't know what you want in your life. So if you want to become a peak performer, know what you want in your life. Okay? So we saw body language, then we saw focus. And these are the different places where you can focus. Obstacles or opportunities, bad, good, problems, solutions. We are going to skip all this. Okay, so we'll go to this slide and then I think we can conclude for today because it's more than 1 hour now. Okay, so I want all of you to focus on the slide here. Okay, and this will help you understand your life. On the y-axis is the level of challenge. आप जो टास्क लेते हो वो कितना कठिन है. On the x-axis is the level of skill. Okay, how skilled are you to solve that challenge? Okay, now I'll give you an example. Suppose you have to play football with a 2-year-old child. Is the challenge high or low? It's fairly low, right? And compared to him or her, your skills is high or low? It's high, right? So now plot this on the graph in front of your screen. So if your skill is high and the challenge is low, either you will be extremely relaxed or you will start feeling bored after some time. Yes or no? Do you agree? If you agree, just give me a thumbs up. Show me a thumbs up. Super. Okay. Now let's take opposite example. Let's say you have to play football with Ronaldo. Ronaldo is probably the world's best footballer. Imagine that. Okay. And you have to play football with him. So the level of challenge is high, very high, right? And the skill is low. Yes or no? So now plot this on the graph. How will you feel? You'll feel anxious. आपको डर लगेगा. You'll feel fear. You'll feel worry. Yes or no? Now, the secret of peak performance is to operate from flow. If you see the yellow thing on the right uppermost corner is sense of flow. Peak performers operate from flow. Okay. When do you experience flow? When the level of challenge is high and the level of skill is also high. That's when you experience flow. So now answer this. अगर आप आपके क्षमता से कम लेवल पे काम कर रहे हो, आप whatever skills you have, if you are operating less and taking a smaller challenge, how are you going to feel in life? You are going to feel boredom in your life. So if you are feeling bored in your life, आपको अगर boredom हो रहा है life में, it means that you are not taking bigger challenge in your life. You are taking only small challenges. If you are feeling anxiety or fear most of the times, it means that you need to work on your skills. If you develop those skills, the fear will automatically go down. Now, what do most of the people do? What do common people do and what do peak performers do differently? Let's understand this. Most of the people who are not peak performers, instead of increasing their skills, they reduce the level of challenge. Does that make sense? And so what happens is they don't go into the flow. They don't experience flow. What is flow? The example जो मैंने आपको दिया था, when a musician is singing and he goes into a blissful state of mind, and then he sings not for the money, not for the clap, but just he enjoys what he is doing. That is the sense of flow. If you are a fan of cricket, you might have heard commentators saying that today the batsman is in flow. He must be seeing the ball like a football. Have you heard this? The commentator saying this, right? That is because he is in the state of flow. So our task is to go into flow state of mind. And if you are a teacher, you have to help your students with flow. If you can take them into the state of flow, they will grasp easily and automatically, and they will live their life more successful than just knowledge, if you know what I mean. Because knowledge without right state of mind, without flow, is either going to create boredom or fear or anxiety. I'll repeat this. Knowledge without the sense of flow is going to create boredom. And if you are feeling bored, you get distracted, right? Or you feel anxious or fear. So if you want yourself to succeed, if you want your students to succeed, you have to help them discover the sense of flow. How do you go into flow? Figure out what are the skills you are naturally good at. So let me give you another example of this. How do you go into flow? Let's say you are an Indian cricket team's head coach. Okay. And tomorrow is the World Cup final match. And we have Virat Kohli as the captain. And we all know that he's extremely talented. He is a go-getter. He gives his 100% when he's playing, right? But as a coach, you realize that the team, the main bowler in the team got injured while practicing. Okay. So as a coach, will you go to Virat Kohli and tell him, Virat, we are short of one bowler and so tomorrow you also do bowling because you are talented, you are skilled, you are enthusiastic. Tomorrow is final match. You also do bowling tomorrow. Guess what is going to happen to Virat Kohli? Is he going to feel confidence or anxiety? He's the world's most confident man. Remember that. But if you ask him to do bowling, he's not going to feel confident, right? Yes or no? So the secret of peak performance is to work on the skills which you already have. Do not work on the skills which you don't have. You have to strengthen and scale up on the skills which you already have. Look for what are you already good at and build on that rather than what you don't have. Same is with your students. Look at what they already have and not what they don't have. Help them discover what they're already good at and build on that. So peak performers build on what they already are good at. And second, peak performer continuously take bigger challenge. Imagine one kid, let's say he's a 7 or 8-year-old kid who is excellent at cricket and he is playing at school level and he is the captain of his school team. But he never goes to district level. He never goes to state level. He says, hey, I am great at this. May the captain who I am performing great at school level, I will not go to the district level or country level. Is he going to improve? Absolutely not. Is he going to be a peak performer? No. Peak performer keep upgrading their skills. So two things, remember this. Peak performers work on the skills which they naturally have, which they already have. They don't focus on what they don't have. Remember, if Virat Kohli doesn't perform well in bowling, you are not going to judge him. You're not going to say Virat Kohli is lazy. He does not do bowling. Because we don't judge him on his bowling. We judge him on his batting. Similarly, at the end of your life is not going to ask you, what did you do in the area of your weakness? Your life is going to ask you, what did you do with the strengths which I gave you? Did you improve them? Did you use them? Did you get the results through your strengths? Did you make a positive impact on the world? Remember this, life is not going to ask you, what did you do with your weakness? Life will ask you, what did you do with your strength? So to quickly wrap up, peak performer recognize their original strengths, their natural strengths, and work on them. And second, they keep upgrading their challenge. They don't conform and stay in the place where they are. So here are some questions. Probably we might share these slides with you in the email. You can ask these questions to yourself to find out what are your natural core strengths. Okay. And then your task would be to build on that. Okay. Okay. So we will end with this. You can read this slide. So peak performers take complete responsibility on their side. They do not complain about society. They do not complain about their financial problem, the situation, the HOD, the principal, or whoever it is. They don't complain about that. They take full responsibility of their own life and they step up. Right? So ask yourself, are you committed to take full responsibility of your life? because nobody else can create your life. Only you are responsible to create an amazing life for yourself, and you can do that only if you are a peak performer. Okay, so I would love to share a lot of things with you, but the time is really short. So I hope that today's session has given you some insights into how you can tap into your own genius. Okay, I will quickly repeat the important things so that you recall. The first thing is, to tap into your genius, you have to activate your advanced brain and not stay in your primitive brain. Your primitive brain cares only about your survival. It doesn't care about learning, peak performance, growth. उसको उससे कुछ भी लेना देना नहीं है. आपके primitive brain को आप happy हो या दुखी हो, उससे कुछ भी लेना देना नहीं है. Only survival is what it cares about. So if you want to become a peak performer, a genius, learn to activate your advanced brain. How do you activate your advanced brain? First, get rid of stress, because if stress is there, primitive brain is activated and advanced brain is bypassed. So get rid of stress. Okay, do not carry your stress. Advanced brain has the ability to solve problems. So if you have financial stress, health related stress, relationship related stress, any kind of stress, if you have, do not carry it throughout the life. Find an expert, find a help, and go and solve it quickly. Because if you are carrying your stress, you're losing out on your advanced brain, right? Okay, so get out of the primitive brain by getting rid of the stress. How, and then activate your advanced brain. How do you do that? Right breathing, right body language. Body is designed to move, not sit in one place. So you can do exercise, yoga, play sports, do something so that you're moving. Body, remember this, body and mind is designed to move. When you move, you operate better. So body language. Second is focus. Know what you want specifically. Do not focus on what you don't want. Know what you want and just keep it in your mind, and things will start happening in that direction. Okay, so everyone just repeat with me. Energy flows where focus goes, and wherever energy flows, it grows. We'll repeat this one more time. Energy flows where focus goes, and wherever energy flows, it grows. So be aware of what you are focusing on. If you are focusing on what you don't want, energy is going to flow into that, and that is going to grow in your life. If you are focusing on what you want, energy is going to flow into that, and that will grow in your life. So body language and focus, most critical things. Okay. And then we saw the graph where we talked about recognizing your own skills which you are already good at and building on them. And second, continuously upgrading the level of challenge. If you are not upgrading level of challenge, you will get bored eventually. Right? So then we saw taking full responsibility of our own self is critical to become a peak performer. So I hope you have, I know that this is not complete. You might have a lot of questions, but the time is short, and probably this is only how much we can share in this limited time. Okay. So I hope I have contributed meaningfully to all of you, and you can use this to make your life better, and people in your life, and can share this with people in your life and make their life better as well. Because ultimately, life is not about I, me, myself. Life is about how am I impacting the world out there, right? So if you have any questions, you can send those questions. We can look at that. We are open for next some minutes. Yeah.
One question is there in chat box. It is,
Okay.
as a teacher, we need to develop many skills.
Right.
If we focus on natural skills, how to develop skills with which we are not good with?
Okay. So here's a question which we have, which is that as a teacher, we have to focus on a lot of skills. And if we don't develop other skills, how can we be good teachers? Right? It's a valid question. Now I want all of you to think about your favorite teacher. Think about your favorite teacher. Okay? And think about their attributes. Were they 100% perfect? Or were there one or two things which each one of us liked about them? What do you think? Right? So mastery is about focusing on certain skills. So for example, as a teacher, there are certain basic skills like communication, right? Like whatever subject you are teaching, that knowledge of that subject, okay? Those are the basic things which you have to know. But in that, maybe your skill is making great PPTs, then use that skill. Maybe your skill is engaging the students through humor. You can use that skill. Maybe your skill is to understand the mindset of the students and help them emotionally. Then do that. Maybe you can understand the students' feeling and you have empathy and you can help them get into right state of mind. Then do that, because realize if that is your strength, that is the best way you can help them. So when we say only focus on your core strength, it doesn't mean you don't have to be good at the basic skills. Of course, you need to have the basic skills, but whatever you are naturally good at, it could be humor, it could be engaging, making engaging PPTs or emotions or whatever it is, use that to take your skills higher. I hope you have answered your questions. There is a question here about stress. How do we balance ourselves with our workload? Okay, so this is again about creating and designing your own life. Most of us have not designed our own life. We live our life by chance. Okay, so peak performers who are great at balancing their workload, they know exactly at what time, what am I going to do. Okay, and they are absolutely focused. They do not think about work when they are with family. When they are with family, they are not thinking about work. In work, they are not thinking about family. And that is again a mental skill. It's about focus. So I believe that balance is all about focus. And so many of us, since we are in our primitive brain is all distracted. It is in fear, it is in anger, it is in confusion. So the question which is, how do I balance myself in workload? We fear and get stressed because of the workload, because we are not in the right state of mind, because we are in either in fear, we are in aggression or confusion, and that is why the workload seems even more heavier. If you are in the right state, you will find the answer to this easily and naturally.
Another question is
Yeah.
how to behave with negative people in surrounding with us.
Okay, how to behave with negative people in surrounding. Okay, excellent question. So all of us know the word social distancing now, right? Everyone knows what social distancing is. And I can guess that no one knew this word 4 months back. 5-6 months back, if somebody would have talked about social distancing, you will not know what social distancing is, right? Now we are doing social distancing because we don't want to come in contact with a person with corona, right? We don't want to come in contact with person with that virus. But the fact is, there is a virus which is far more dangerous than the coronavirus. And that virus is the virus of negativity. And it comes to you not just with touch, it comes to you with many different ways. And there is a beautiful line, very, very insightful line, which says, a scratched soul scratches others. A healed soul heals others. I'll repeat this. A scratched soul scratches others. Healed soul heals others. So people who are scratched with negativity, even if they have good intentions for you, when they come in contact with you, are going to scratch you. In other words, they are going to transfer that that negative virus to you. So the solution to that is social distancing, not just for corona, but for negative people. So you have to avoid them as much as possible. Okay. And if you cannot avoid them, okay, if they are your HOD, you cannot avoid them. Then what do? You cannot have social distancing there. Then you have to create a strong mindset. Again, that is a state of mind. We talked about skills and challenge, right? So having a negative HOD or a principal is a high level challenge. So you have to develop the skill to be in the positive state of mind in spite of the higher level of challenge. You have to develop the skill to not get affected by these people. So let's say that person is focusing on your bad things. They are telling you you're wrong, you're not doing this, you're wrong here, you must do this. In your head, you say to yourself, relax, I am enough. I accept and love myself the way I am. You know, in your head, you can say positive things to yourself. You can keep breathing right at that time. Okay, you start breathing full at that time, and you will remain in a positive state of mind, and you will realize then that negativity will not be able to touch you. So the first step is social distancing. Second step is again state of mind. How do you do that? Right body language, right breathing, and say positive things to yourself. I accept myself. I love myself. I'm enough. Right? Okay. Any other question?
Next question is, what is the role of acceptance in life?
What is the role of acceptance in life?
Acceptance in life.
Okay. So excellent question. Whoever has asked this, brilliant. Thanks for asking this question. Okay.
Question is asked by Smita Joshi.
Okay. It is asked by Smita Joshi. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for asking this. Okay. So if we take this in context of peak performers know exactly what they are going to change in their life. So if they are a sportsman, they are focused on their health and sports skills, and they accept everything else as it is. Maybe as a like a sports person, they are not able to earn that much financially in the beginning, but they accept that because their focus is on their sports skill and fitness. Does that make sense? If they're a singer, they're focused on their singing skills, but they're accepting whatever is happening around. If you try to become perfect on every aspect of your life, to change everything around you, to change every person around you, to change every situation around you, you will burn out and you will change nothing. I'll repeat this. If you try to change everything in your life, if you try to change every person in your life, if you try to focus on all the things in your life, you will burn out. Aap jal jaoge and you will not change anything. Real change happens with focus. So peak performers focus on one aspect and change everything in that aspect, and they accept everything in the other aspect. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes. Now the next question is, how to manage co-workers' irritation due to jealousy?
How to manage co-workers' irritation due to jealousy. So right now, become aware of your right toe. आपके पाँव की अंगूठे पे ध्यान दीजिए. Right now, become aware of your right toe and become aware of the sensations in your right toe. Can you feel your right toe? Yes or no? Give me a thumbs up if you can feel your right toe. Show me in your video. Show me a thumbs up. Right? So you can feel your right toe right now. Okay. Now feel the chair in which you are sitting. Feel the chair in which you are sitting. Now my guess is you were not feeling your chair before this. You were not feeling your toe before this. Yes or no? You are feeling it right now because you are focusing there. and you experience jealousy of other people because you are not focusing on what you want. So answer to that is, know what you want in your life and focus there. That's it. If you're experiencing jealousy of others, it means you are focusing on others and you're focusing on the jealousy. There might be people in your life who are extremely proud of you, who are supporting you, who think positive about you. Start identifying those people and think about them. Then you will not recognize the jealousy. I hope you get the point.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Now the next question is, thinking positive is always comes along with negative thinking, isn't it?
Thinking positive always comes with negative thinking.
Yes.
Uh, who has asked this, and what makes them think so? Can I know?
He means to say, means if you think positive, means along with that means we are thinking in negative also in that way. So
So
what is
which
the solution for
means,
that?
so this means that we are in conflict. Okay, if we are, whenever we think positive, and then, so here's the thing, like I told you, that 90% of people live their entire life in primitive brain, which creates fear, anxiety, and confusion, which, in other words, negativity, right? So negativity comes from primitive brain, and we know that 90% people live in their primitive brain. So chances are, we are not judging it, but chances are your parents were also in their primitive brain. Chances are the teachers whom you went through were in primitive brain. Chances are your friends were in negative brain. Yes or no? And we also saw that scratch soul scratches other, heal soul heals others. So the fact is, all of us have got scratched in our life very badly with negativity. And so we have a deep programming, a deep influence of negative thought in our mind. And so when we start thinking positive, this deep programming starts coming up on the surface. So if I say, hey, I'm good enough, I love myself, there will be a voice back of my mind which will say, tum jhoot bol rahe ho. You are not good enough. You are not, you have this weakness. You are not good in this. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes, yes.
Right? So you have to, so whenever you start thinking positive and then you have a negative feeling, you have to recognize, what am I doing in my head to feel that negativity, and recognize that this is the past programming which is working on me, and reject that sound, reject that voice which is giving the negativity. Get into a even stronger body language, start breathing full, say even louder to yourself, I can do it, I am beautiful, I am amazing, I accept myself, I love myself. Whatever you are going to give energy to you, energy, that's going to grow in your life. Does that make sense? So even if you have positive and negative thoughts coming together, make the positive even more stronger, and then this will die. If you don't give the negative thought the energy, it will die eventually. If you keep giving energy to positive, it will grow and this will die.
Okay. The last question from my side, asked by Chetna Saragi. If our team lead making us demotion, what we do?
No one can make, so the question is, if the team lead is making us emotional, what can
demotion
demotion? Okay, demotion. Okay, so remember, you are not a tree, you can move. A tree cannot move, you can move, isn't it so? So if you have right skills, if you have developed right skills, if you are ready to take bigger challenges, move. Who is stopping you? You are not a tree. Does that make sense? So sometimes the tree gets infected with ants, okay? And probably imagine the ants are biting the tree. The tree cannot move. It has to accept it and it has to go through all the pain. But you are not a tree.
Okay.
Right? Move. So how can you create the confidence to move? Is to work on your skills, develop yourself, recognize your natural strengths and build those strengths, work on the skills, and you'll automatically get the confidence to move to a place and a space where you are valued and
Okay.
which feeds you positively. Yes.
Shekhapure sir, this is from my side. Yes, we have another 5 minutes. If you have any questions, Shekhapure sir, over to you, Shekhapure sir.
Yeah, I think M. Patunkar, that's what I see. I don't know your name. He wants to ask some question. Can you unmute him? M.
Difficult
Patunkar.
now. Shekhapure sir, do you have any questions? Hello.
Uh, no, there is no question as such. Thank you very much, Tejas, for such a wonderful session. And I hope all the participants really got something valuable out of this.
Yeah.
We have with us, Tejas, we have with us our HOD Dhole sir.
Okay.
So he like to give vote of thanks to you.
Yes.
With the vote of thanks, we are going to finish this webinar
Sure.
today.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
request.
So I can see some people want to ask more question. So guys, I am available on Facebook. I am available on Gmail. You can get my email ID in the mail. You can ask me questions. I am on Facebook with my name. You can type Tejas Toro and then you can ask whatever question you want. I would love to contribute. If you are a peak performer, my purpose of life is to empower peak performers and give you more light. So thank you for being engaged in this program. Yeah, Mr. Dhole sir.